Marvel's latest superhero Wonder Man has finally debuted. Whenever he loses control of his emotions, his eyes glow red, triggering the latent superpowers within him. But as a child, before Simon's powers had awakened, he dreamed of becoming a leading man on the screen like many others, a superhero who saves the world. As an adult, Simon got his wish and became a bit part actor. He always insisted on over-interpreting his characters. Simon's constant questions and revisions exhausted the production team's patience, so he decided to remove his character from the show entirely. Back home, his relationship with his partner was also on the rocks.
You never let me in, Simon. Not really. It's a little late to start caring about this relationship with his career failing and his personal life in shambles. Simon felt utterly demoralized.
He went to a cinema to unwind, where he unexpectedly met the legendary Trevor Slattery, an eccentric but famous actor. During their conversation about movies and acting, Simon asked Trevor about the role he was auditioning for. Trevor mysteriously hinted that it was a massive opportunity. He was auditioning for the Marvel film Wonder Man, news that instantly electrified Simon. Hearing that Wonder Man was looking for a fresh face, he felt he was born to play this role. Simon rushed to the audition venue, where he signed an NDA and a superpower waiver. Turns out Hollywood now strictly forbids superpowered individuals from acting. Of course, Simon was still unaware of the latent power within him. While waiting, seeing other actors leave with such confidence only added to his mounting pressure. When his turn came, he was so over-prepared and consumed by nerves that his mind went blank, making it impossible to get into character. Just as he was on the verge of a breakdown, Trevor appeared once more. Trevor saw right through Simon's struggle, telling him he was overthinking it. He was being held back by his own notes and all that backstory baggage. Trevor told him to toss that junk aside, trust the lines, and just live in the moment. To help Simon break out of his own head, Trevor taught him an extreme technique. Forcefully exhale every bit of air from his lungs as fast as possible until his body entered a state of shock. By doing this, the brain's frontal lobe shuts down, cutting off logical thought and leaving nothing but raw instinct. Simon followed Trevor's advice, and when he stood before the camera again, he stopped over-analyzing and delivered his lines purely by instinct. His performance was filled with raw power and genuine emotion, stunning everyone on set. After the screen test, Simon and Trevor sat down together once more, where Trevor shared more of his acting philosophy. Quoting Shakespeare, he said, "The purpose of playing is to hold the mirror up to nature. Real preparation isn't about mining subtext or analyzing the writer's intent. It's about life itself." He encouraged Simon to experience life more and even picked up the tab. However, the moment Simon left, Trevor immediately made a call, his expression turning cold and professional. The eccentric artist persona vanished instantly.
Simon Williams is superpowered. He's unstable and incredibly dangerous. This country won't be safe until he's in my custody. Are you sure? He's buying the act. Don't fret. I've got him right. Where I want him, as it turns out. His chance encounter with Simon at the cafe was no accident.
The reunion at the audition and the drinks that followed were all part of a calculated plan. Trevor is far from being just an eccentric and helpful veteran actor. He is actually working for a secret agency known as the DOT. A flashback reveals Trevor's past, where he once posed as the terrorist leader, the Mandarin, broadcasting threats on live television. He even claimed responsibility for an attack on an airbase in Kuwait. After his arrest, he maintained that it was all just a performance. The Darcy approached him with an ultimatum: either return to prison to serve out his sentence or work for Theo. Trevor chooses the latter without a second thought, and his target is the superpowered individual Simon Williams. To get close to Simon, Trevor needed the perfect bait. He rejected the idea of a fake audition, knowing a professional actor like Simon would easily see through the ruse. He needed to find a genuine opportunity, a role that Simon would be desperate to land. Meanwhile, Simon's agent, Ruth, informs him that his screen test for Wonder Man went well. She has secured another opportunity for him, recording a self-tape for an indie film titled Carlisle. He urges Simon to complete and submit it as soon as possible. On the other side, Trevor's handler at the DOT key is growing impatient with his lack of progress, pressuring him to find definitive proof of Simon's abilities. The handler hands him a device and orders him to break into Simon's home and plant it on his computer for remote monitoring. Just then, Simon texts Trevor for help, asking him to help prepare for the Carlisle audition. Laying right into Trevor's hands to avoid appearing too eager, Trevor deliberately waits before replying. Prodded by his liaison, he feigned a need to rearrange his schedule before finally agreeing to Simon's request. Before Trevor arrived, Simon rehearsed tirelessly at home, but the results remained lackluster. Sifting through audition tapes on the sofa, he stumbled upon old clips that his ex-girlfriend had helped him record. As his emotions began to stir, Simon recalled the technique Trevor had taught him. He exhaled sharply, forcing every last bit of air from his lungs. But what followed was beyond anything he could have imagined. In Simon's home, he discovered a wall draped in white cloth, tearing it away. He revealed a surface riddled with jarring cracks as if from a massive impact. He hastily planted a tracker on Simon's computer to facilitate ongoing surveillance. In truth, signs of Simon's unusual nature had surfaced even in his childhood. When Simon was 13, a fire suddenly erupted in the kitchen, leaving the young boy trapped inside. Yet inexplicably, once firefighters pulled Simon out, paramedics found him completely unscathed. The Department of Damage Control is tasked with shielding the nation from superpowered threats. During their internal briefings, it was revealed that the department is under immense budgetary pressure. Their prison's half-empty Congress is scrutinizing their expenditures, forcing them to deliver tangible results and fast. The director emphasized that every agent must prove their worth. Fortunately, he had already uncovered several leads in their investigation of Simon. The report on the kitchen fire when he was 13, a portable toilet explosion on a film set last year, and the hard drive data Trevor exfiltrated from Simon's computer. All of these link him to anomalous incidents. Nevertheless, throughout his interactions with Trevor, but he felt Simon was just a sensitive soul and doubted the danger he posed. Dodge has issued new orders. Simon's mother's birthday party is approaching, and Trevor must attend while wearing a wire, infiltrating the family to uncover the truth about that fire. Trevor was hesitant, feeling that this was crossing a line, but his superiors threatened him with a return to prison, forcing him to comply. The atmosphere seemed harmonious on the surface. Trevor discreetly questioned the family about the kitchen fire from years ago. However, the family remained tight-lipped and reluctant to discuss it. Simon's mother simply blamed herself, saying she shouldn't have left 13-year-old Simon home alone. Trevor then tried to fish for information from neighbors and childhood friends, but to little avail. The party's focus soon shifted to Simon and his successful brother, Eric. Eric, a senior VP at an insurance company, scoffed at Simon's acting career as a frivolous pursuit, while constantly flaunting his own achievements. The tension between the brothers reached a breaking point. As the conflict escalated, Eric questioned if their mother was still secretly supporting Simon. He ruthlessly exposed the fact that Simon had been fired from the set, accusing him of never contributing to the family, and only running from reality. Under his brother's relentless verbal assault and the family's gaze, Simon finally snapped, and an uncontrollable, mysterious energy erupted from within him, instantly flinging everything around him aside. In the aftermath, Simon was overwhelmed by guilt and fear. He felt his acting career and his entire life might effectively be over. Trevor tried to comfort him, but Simon was utterly despondent, believing Eric was right, and that he should simply admit defeat. Just when Simon was at his lowest, he received a call from his agent. He and Trevor had both secured a screen test for Wonder Man. This unexpected piece of good news brought a glimmer of hope to his desperate situation, yet he couldn't help but feel a lingering sense of worry. After all, Hollywood has now banned superpowered individuals from acting in films. The reason for this regulation traces back to a man named Dorman. He was a bouncer at a popular nightclub when a sudden fire shattered the peace of the night as smoke billowed through the club. The exits were blocked and panic ensued. In that critical moment, Dorman revealed his incredible superpowers. He could transform his body into a portal that others could pass through, allowed the terrified crowd to walk right through him, successfully evacuating everyone to safety. This heroic act made Dorman an overnight sensation. To repay him, Josh Gad, the star he had saved, hired him as his personal assistant, with a staggering annual salary of $200. From that point on, Dorman's life changed dramatically. He went from an ordinary bouncer to one of the most sought-after figures in the star's inner circle. Josh eventually brought Dorman into the entertainment industry. During a production meeting for a new film, the crew was struggling to design a complex vault heist sequence. Dorman casually suggested using his phasing ability for the scene, an idea that left everyone present deeply impressed. Josh immediately decided that Dorman should play the role himself. Although Dorman repeatedly insisted he wasn't an actor, he finally agreed under the encouragement of Josh and the rest of the team. The action comedy Operation Money Grab became a massive hit. Dorman officially became an actor and rose to fame in Hollywood. After achieving stardom, Dorman became a regular guest on major talk shows and television programs. However, fame also brought its share of troubles. Dorman's image and abilities were overexploited, as he appeared in a string of commercial campaigns and ads of varying quality. One particular laxative advertisement turned him into a laughingstock. "Pass right through me. Tried exploding legs, we've got a mole. Your insides are as insubstantial as mine, ding dong." His agent informed him that the contract for this ad was being terminated early, The brand felt that his meme factor had become stale and outdated. To make matters worse, Dorman's lavish spending habits soon led him into deep financial trouble. Faced with a declining career, Dorman felt unprecedented pressure. He eventually resorted to a home shopping infomercial for potato bags, further cheapening his professional image. The potato bag soon became the center of a scandal when a design flaw left numerous consumers with severe steam burns. Dorman was consequently embroiled in a class action lawsuit. With his reputation in tatters, he was forced to record a public apology video announcing his temporary withdrawal from the spotlight for self-reflection. Just as Dorman's career hit rock bottom, his old friend Josh Gad reached out to him once again. Josh told him Operation Money Grab 2 was about to start filming and invited him back. This rekindled a glimmer of hope for Dorman. On the set of Money Grab 2, everything seemed to be looking up. However, a catastrophic accident occurred. During a stunt that required Dorman to use his powers, phase through a wall together with Josh. Disaster struck.
He didn't come out. Oh, okay. Oh, Jackie. Oh, thank you. Ah.
Josh Gad had mysteriously vanished inside of him. This bizarre disappearance sent shockwaves across the globe. The Department of Damage Control intervened immediately, taking Dorman into custody, subjecting him to endless probing and experimentation to find out Josh's whereabouts, but to no avail. Dorman would spend the rest of his life under strict surveillance. This incident sent shockwaves throughout Hollywood to prevent such a tragedy from ever happening again. Mayo Studios jointly introduced an industry regulation known as the Dorman Clause. Going forward, it will be nearly impossible for superpowered individuals to perform in major motion pictures or TV roles. The insurance required is now astronomical. Everything. Okay, so bad news, oh no. This is good, so good. Even though Hollywood now strictly bans superpowered individuals from acting in movies, he decided to keep his abilities hidden, because he was only one step away from his big break. Soon the day of the screen test for the movie Wonder Man arrived. Zimon arrived at the director's mansion, but the audition process was unconventional and highly improvisational. Instead of having the actors perform from a script, he paired them up for improvisation exercises. He had an actor named Richard play one of Simon's former classmates, confronting him over the phone.
Hello. Hello. Hey. That's the freak. Hello. It's you. You're right, it's me. You can hide from me in this mess. All right, that's enough. Everyone knows your secret. You're not fooling anyone. We've all been talking about it behind your back. Hey, Richard, your friend Thomas can't help you, Simon, no. Won't him please stop? You're a freak. And you always will be.
It was only a dream, but Simon woke up consumed by despair. He confided in Trevor, saying he could no longer handle the pressure. He was afraid to show his true self to anyone, fearing that the real him would be cast out and never work as an actor again. Trevor once again offered him profound encouragement. He told Simon that the real you isn't your superpower, but everything you've endured, the joy, the grief, and the heartbreak. He reiterated that an actor's mission is to hold a mirror up to nature, sharing one's own pain and joy so the audience feels less alone. Deeply moved by these words, Simon decided to give it one last performance with Trevor. This time their performance was brimming with raw emotion and power, vividly capturing the inner turmoil and struggle of their characters. Their performance deeply moved the director Von Kodak. Pulling them aside, he told Simon that he was the only Wonder Man in his eyes, and invited Trevor to play his best friend Barnaby. Director excitedly declared they would create cinematic history together. On the way home, the two were basking in the joy of their success. However, Trevor's troubles were not far behind. His liaison at the dot called demanding to know why he hadn't answered. While asking for the recorded evidence, Trevor stalled, claiming his equipment had malfunctioned, but the agent threatened to send him back to prison. In a moment of desperation, Trevor pivoted his strategy, confirmed that Simon was indeed a dangerous superpowered individual. However, he argued that his testimony as a known terrorist would never hold up in court. He promised to secure more incriminating evidence, buying himself a bit more time. Filming for Wonder Man officially began. and life on set was full of novelty and challenges. As the lead, Simon enjoyed the star treatment, with dedicated assistants catering to his every need, and the bond between him and Trevor became common knowledge among the crew. The first week of filming went off without a hitch, and Simon's agent brought him a new opportunity, an offer to star in a Netflix series. However, Trevor advised Simon not to rush into a new project, urging him to stay focused on Wonder Man instead, or even take on a stage play to prove his acting chops. Greatly influenced by Trevor, Simon told his agent he was leaning towards Trevor's advice. Just then, an even greater opportunity arrived. Cathy Friedman, a renowned entertainment reporter for the New York Times, had heard about their legendary journey from rivals to best friends. She wanted to do a joint profile on them. However, Trevor was filled with dread. He warned Simon that Cathy Friedman was known for her razor-sharp wit and ruthless critiques, calling her a total character assassin. He read aloud some biting excerpts from Cathy's past articles, making Simon worry that his social awkwardness would be laid bare during the interview, and fearing his secret superpowers might be exposed. To prepare for the interview, they decided to be inseparable in the reporter's presence, cultivating a warm and approachable image together. The next day, Cathy arrived on set to observe. Simon then received some unsettling news. Cathy had already contacted his ex-girlfriend Vivian before the interview. He immediately arranged to meet Vivian to find out what was going on. Vivian assures him that she hasn't revealed his secret to the press, but she also admits that while they were dating, she had already noticed that Simon was different. She had been waiting for Simon to open up to her, but that moment never came, and she hopes that in the future Simon will find someone whom he can truly trust and be his authentic self within. The conversation with his ex-girlfriend only deepens Simon's anxiety. He worries the reporter will also target his family, especially his older brother Eric, who still holds a grudge against him. Calls his mother to check, only to learn that Casey has indeed already interviewed Eric. Simon is instantly overcome with panic, certain that Eric will expose everything about him to the press. With a heavy sense of dread, Simon and Trevor sit down for the interview with Casey. However, the interview takes an unexpected turn. Casey tells him that Eric spoke of him with nothing but praise and pride. He didn't say a single negative word. Casey expresses how inspirational he finds Simon's entire journey, which is why he is so interested in the story. Then Casey shifts the focus to Trevor, pointing out bluntly that according to his investigation, Trevor was arrested for prison escape upon his arrival in La a few months ago. The sharp question rattles Trevor as Casey continues to press him, demanding to know if he struck a deal with the government and how a fugitive like him could be starring in a major motion picture. Under Casey's relentless interrogation, Trevor's composure completely shatters. He heatedly denies everything until he can't take it anymore and storms off. The disastrous interview forces Simon to see the truth. He confronts Trevor about what is really going on. Under Simon's persistence, Trevor finally comes clean. He has been working for the Department of Damage Control all along. He only got close to Simon to monitor him and gather intel. From the screen test to his mother's birthday party, everything had been an elaborate ruse. Simon felt completely betrayed. He couldn't believe he had been such a fool, treating a spy as his closest friend. Trevor tried to explain, claiming he had been stalling for a long time, withholding any substantive information from the department, and promising to find a way to fix everything. But to Simon, this belated loyalty was meaningless. Once again, Simon's emotions spiraled out of control. The explosion on the Wonder Man set rocked the city, and a massive manhunt was launched across Hollywood. Meanwhile, Trevor made one last call to Simon before his arrest. He told Simon that he had squandered every opportunity in his own life, but he didn't want Simon to lose this precious chance as well. He apologized for everything he had done, declaring that he would take full responsibility. He urged Simon to cherish this starring role and live his life to the fullest. After hanging up, Trevor recorded a video and sent it to news outlets across the country. In the video, he reappeared as the Mandarin, claiming responsibility for the Wonder Man set explosion and delivering a radical manifesto about the government using Hollywood for mind control. He cast himself as a rebel fighting against the system. This video successfully shifted all the blame onto himself, and the Dutch moved in quickly to arrest him. Though they knew he wasn't the big fish they were after, the arrest of a high-profile terrorist was enough to satisfy Congress and secure their budget. As Trevor was being led away, whispering the truth to the head of the Department of Damage Control, he claimed he had been the real Mandarin all along, and they never saw through his performance. Trevor's sacrifice cleared the way for Simon, allowing the filming of Wonder Man to proceed. Simon did not disappoint. He perfectly channeled the grief of losing his dear friend into his character, delivering a truly breathtaking performance. The film became a massive hit upon release, catapulting Simon to a list superstardom in Hollywood. At the grand premiere, he celebrated his success alongside family and friends. Meanwhile, as lab technicians analyzed the residue from the set explosion, discovered abnormal disturbances in ionic energy. They realized that Simon might possess the immense power to harness ionic energy. He could be an extraordinary threat or a remarkable asset. By now Simon had already used his superpowers to infiltrate the prison where Trevor was held. He forced the cell door open with ease, so it instantly triggered the alarm system. Even though the prison's security was airtight and breaking out seemed impossible, Simon had other plans. Using his interdimensional travel ability, he and Trevor vanished from the prison, venturing toward an unknown freedom. And that concludes the story of Wonder Man. Compared to previous Marvel superhero films, known for grand visual effects and thrilling fights, Wonder Man focuses its weight on the narrative itself, crafting several well-rounded characters, which is truly refreshing. This recap omitted many of Simon's acting scenes. If you're interested, I highly recommend watching the original series. Thank you for joining me. I wish you all the very best, and may all your wishes come true. See you in the next one.